Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Team Dinner. My name is Jack Maloney, and my guest today is Nick O'Malley. Nick, thanks for being here.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
And we are going to chat all things Massachusetts, Central Mass, Worcester, Oreos, state fairs, everything in between. So
try to cover the whole state, and let's see if we can get that is a lot of ground to cover, but it's what we try to do around here.
I'm looking forward to it. And so the first question we start everyone off with here, which is, what is the best meal you've had this year?
The best meal I've had this year involved standing outside in mid-February in like a 25-person line in Seekonk. It's this place called Triple S Barbecue. Relatively new. They recently graduated from like a smaller setup to a brick-and-mortar spot, and they have these ridiculous portions for barbecue. They have brisket, pulled pork. But the thing that really got me was what they call their dino ribs.
Yeah.
It's like, you ever seen the Flintstones and they go to the drive-in, they get the Brontosaurus ribs and it tips a car over? Really reminds me of that. One of the most decadent, delicious things, just in terms of how tender the meat is, how flavorful it is. Amazing, just this raspberry barbecue sauce. When I thought about all the things I've eaten this year, which is a lot, if I could go back and teleport to any time/place, I'm like, I'm going to get that again.
I appreciate that. February outside, waiting in line. It's no easy feat.
No easy feat, but it was very nice because one of the owners, right when they opened, they're like, okay, we open at, I think it was like noon. It's like, came out, it's like, hey, we really appreciate you standing outside in the cold. This is why we do this. We really appreciate you coming by. We try our best. We've been up since midnight making barbecue, and like, it was like a pregame speech for a meal, which I don't get very often, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that that's the thing I like. One of the things I love about small businesses, right, is that like that. You go to some restaurants, the customer is not always maybe in the forefront, but like that commitment on your side is like not lost on these people, which I think is kind of why this whole show exists and why we all love small businesses, right?
Yeah. And you can get a meal anywhere, but if you can get a meal from someone who's passionate about what they do and the community they're in, and that's something that's reflected back and forth between the customer and the restaurant, it's something that brings people closer together and makes the whole experience better.
Yeah, I agree. Very good. That's a great answer. All right. So we're gonna jump back a little bit. I'd like to talk about you and how we got to where you're sitting across the table from me right now, and your history with MassLive and your history, sort of growing up in the area. And I'd love to just kind of learn a little bit more about you and your backstory.
Yeah, I grew up in Bellingham, Mass, right on the Rhode Island border. Went to school at UMass Amherst. First job out of school, I got a journalism degree, and I was really passionate about going into sports journalism, which I ended up doing. My first job was working overnights at WEEI as a radio producer. Eventually begged them to let me write for the website. After a year and a half there was this little site in Western Mass called MassLive, then just the website for the Springfield Republican newspaper. Happened to get a job there, and just as a sort of general sports producer, just writing stuff up, anything and everything about sports. And as time went on, when I got there is when MassLive really started to expand from the Springfield-based news organization to we want to be an organization that covers the whole state. So someplace that's going to cover Springfield, that's going to cover Palmer, that's going to cover Fitchburg, and cover the Cape. Instead of, I was living in Springfield at this time, and the sense that you get from a lot of folks is that, like, listen, Boston's the epicenter of Massachusetts, but it definitely feels like the state goes downhill from, in terms of attention from Boston, where, like, you ever seen the meme map of like Boston, center of the universe, and outside of Worcester, it's Here Be Dragons?
Yeah.
Definitely feel that when you live out there.
Yeah.
So that's something I always try to keep in mind, is that, hey, this whole state's awesome. And there are people who live in every corner and inch of this state, and they love where they live in their communities. And they're all important. And so trying to highlight all of it, it's a big task, but it's what I try to do. Circling back to MassLive, and so sort of getting that start and expanding from there is really sort of shaped my career. And a year after I started covering sports and do a lot of Patriot stuff, this is going to sound weird to say, but Taco Bell changed my life. Because one day, I was every day going into the office, I would drive by Taco Bell, and they were just launched their breakfast menu. and they launched something called the waffle taco, which is just like a U-shaped waffle filled with scrambled eggs, bacon, maple syrup. And I go, I'm going to order this and bring it in and eat it in front of everyone and gross them out and be funny. And then one of my coworkers who ran sort of the entertainment side of the time is like, oh, you should write a review about it. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, I'll write it. I'll write the silliest thing I've ever written, and there's no way they're going to run it. So they ran it, and it did really well. And it's sort of me not thinking it would run sort of gave me a lot of freedom in writing it and not like zero pressure.
Right.
And so they said, oh, that was funny. You should do that again. I'm like, fine, I'll do it again. And then after that, I'll be done. I'll just do this until they tell me to stop. And that was 12 years ago.
Yeah. I love it. Taco, how long did the waffle taco last?
A few months.
Yeah, short
It was
lived.
not, it's not around anymore.
Yeah, I like that. Shout out Taco Bell for maybe helping you go down a different path, right? And I agree with you entirely. It's why one of the things I'm excited to, or one of the reasons I'm excited to talk to you today is that I get a lot of flack in the comments, right, about covering Greater Boston, and I've had a couple people who are more Central Mass people on, and so those complaints have died down a little bit. But the reality is like, I do have a lot of people on for Boston, the vast majority, and it's largely because we film during the week. We film in Cambridge, and so it is what it is. It's hard to get someone from Pittsfield to come here for a 5 o'clock taping or whatever it is, right? So I appreciate I say all that maybe to tell people that I hear them in the comments. I understand. I am doing everything I can to touch every corner of this great state that we're in.
Yeah.
Cool, man, and I appreciate the MassLive backstory, and I think that's a great. We can talk sports, we can talk food. What's your record prediction for the Patriots this year? Let's do that, huh?
Prediction? Well, unfortunately for the Patriots, even before like they actually got to the Super Bowl, it was like, wow, just a lot of games went their way, and they were a young team that overachieved, and so they're always going to be on course for a
reset or something, recalibration.
There was a phrase like going back to the average or mean, like
regressing to the mean.
Yeah, regressing to the mean. And so I still think they're a playoff caliber team, especially with the whole rest of the division resetting. So if they went 10-7, 11-6, I think that's sort of the target.
Yeah.
Fringe playoff team. Man, really hope the Mike Vrabel drama stuff dies down soon. As someone who, since September, transitioned from sports full-time to what I'm doing now with a new spin-off called Anywhere and eSpaceWare, not my problem. I don't have to cover that anymore, which I feel great about.
I like it. Very good. All right, so let's get into some of the fun questions if we can. So, I was going kind of deep in your Instagram and looking you kind of researching the show, and there's a couple series that you had going on that I thought were really interesting, and I want to talk about if that's okay. So, one would be you did what are the top tourist destinations in the state from the perspective of a Massachusetts resident. And I'm curious, what did you find from that? What was your favorite and what was your least favorite in that series?
Yeah, so tourist trap or bad rap is what we ended up calling it. Yeah. And the thing that ended up being my favorite, I'm not even sure if it was part of the series. It was so good that I didn't even include it. I'm like, this is just good. It's just going to be awesome. It was the Boston Tea Party Museum, where you get to throw the crate of tea into the harbor. You get to explore a ship. They go to actual tea room where you can drink teas from that they threw overboard. I'm like, this is just great.
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was going to be super gimmicky and like touristy, but like I thoroughly enjoyed this and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing that when I started that series, the number one response was like, oh, you gotta do Plymouth Rock, right?
Yeah.
Gotta go after Plymouth Rock. And listen, Plymouth Rock, it's just a rock. But I have such a soft spot in my heart for it because, like, oh, this little rock, it's trying its best. Yes, it's just a rock that's sitting in this big cage, like it's a lion pit. You just look down and go, there's a slightly above average size rock.
Yeah.
And it has a number in it, and someone probably threw a water bottle in there today.
Yeah.
And that's it. But it is free.
Yeah.
And there is a very delightful town that you can visit in Plymouth. Shelley's Tea Room is one of those places that's nearby that you can just go and have a very nice day. Plymouth Rock, yes, it's not something that's going to entertain you.
Yeah.
but it's done quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we saw the rock. Cool. Done. You're in and out. You go have the rest of your day. My nightmare is the worst thing I did for that series, or the thing that I enjoyed the least, and there's some context here, was visiting Salem around Halloween.
Yeah.
Because there's just nowhere to park. You're walking around all day. You like, no matter what you do, it's gonna take forever to park. The whole day's gone. You spent too much money and go, I didn't have a good day today, and that took 8 hours.
Yeah.
Plymouth Rock, that's 8 minutes.
That's right. All right, so I appreciate you, because I do see Plymouth Rock get a lot of flack online, so I appreciate you defending Plymouth Rock. And yeah, Salem and Halloween is no joke, man. That is no joke.
You know what's great? Salem in May.
Yeah, Salem is
just as nice.
I was in Salem in May. It was wonderful. It was a hot day. It was beautiful. Packed, but in a good way, not an overbearing way. Very good. All right. So the next question would be, and this is again something I noticed you were doing some. Weather's getting warmer, and you're covering a lot of local ice cream shops and or ice cream places, right? So it's my question to you, and we do a Mount Rushmore here, which is like top 4, right? Do you have a top 4, a Mount Rushmore of Massachusetts ice cream shops?
Oh, absolutely. So right now I'm working on we're sort of bringing back, we did for a long time, the Best of Mass series. We try to highlight the best of whatever division. Right now we're working on ice cream. So I've just been going around the state trying to Best of Mass ice cream. And right now I have my Mount Rushmore pretty locked down.
Good.
So the one thing, when I'm looking for something that is the best, I always try to look for something that you can't get everywhere, because this is ice cream. Listen, every town pretty much has a good ice cream spot, and it's gonna have ice cream, which is delicious. You went out and got ice cream, it's awesome. It's you're not gonna go out and go, man, that ice cream stunk. No, it's ice cream.
Yeah.
But can you go somewhere that gives you something, goes, whoa, that's not like anything I've had before. So the 4 places that do that for me are, we're going to start way out of Boston.
Yeah.
We're going to Great Barrington.
I love it.
SoCo Creamery is this amazing spot in Great Barrington, way out in the Berkshires, in that perfect little hamlet that is Great Barrington. I always, when I go to Great Barrington, I'm like, am I about to meet my high school sweetheart and start working at a Christmas tree farm?
Yeah.
Like, straight into a Hallmark movie, but down this little street, amazing ice cream, wonderful flavors, and just simple flavors that just, when you taste them, it goes, boom, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Going a little bit closer to Boston area, I love Holy Cow ice cream. They've got spots in Peabody, Salem, down in Dennisport. They have what I think is the single best flavor in Massachusetts, which is their Ritzy AF ice cream, which it has this like butterscotch chocolate Ritz cracker bark that they use and they incorporate into the ice cream, and creates these amazing, just sort of electric, but in a good way, just saltiness and butteriness, chocolate, and these flavors that just explode in your mouth.
Yeah.
And I think for 2023, it won the North American Flavor of the Year for like this prestigious ice cream competition. And so that is awesome. And then they're constantly going through these really cool flavors that really no one else does. I remember I did a story on them, and they're like, so we don't make the mix-ins here anymore. We had to get a whole separate building, and it's like, we have a bakery just for stuff to put into our ice cream.
Yeah.
So that's how much effort and resources they put into it, which translates really well into the ice cream.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. So those are your top 2.
Yes. Also in the top 4 is Richardson's in Middleton.
Yep.
Richardson's for me is like the peak going out to a dairy farm experience. It's very different from like going to those sort of more expensive but really good ice cream parlors. There's a lot of them in Boston. You're going out to the farm. There are picnic tables anywhere. There's lots of grass where kids can run around. You can see the cows. Richardson's, they've got a driving range. They've got mini golf. They've got batting cages.
Cool.
They've got very nice bathrooms. They've got a place inside you can eat the ice cream. Just a million little touches that really enhance the experience.
Yeah.
And the ice cream's awesome.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, cool. I've not been to any of these, so this is a lot of education for me. All right, now how would you round out your top 4?
Top 4, last spot is New City Micro Creamery in Hudson.
Okay.
That's another one of those sort of like higher end, wonderful flavors, but it's a little bit more expensive. But it's a wonderful little spot that has some like nice outdoor seating, really good flavors, just like the vanilla and the chocolate, the simple flavors. They just knock out of the park.
Yeah.
And their Hudson location, it's open pretty late, and in the back is the door to a speakeasy called Less Than Greater Than. So you go to the back of this ice cream parlor, you're knocking the door, someone opens a slit, go into a whole separate business where you get some really nice cocktails.
There you go. Have they combined cocktails and ice cream?
I don't believe so. No, it's a just completely separate vibe.
I like it. Okay. All right. These are fantastic recommendations. I've not been to any of them. I'm not a sophisticated ice cream person, so I appreciate all of these recommendations. I do love Great Barrington though. It's like one of my favorite towns in the state for sure. So I will go there next time I'm there. I promise. Okay, let's keep this train moving. These are great recommendations. Next one would be one we like to talk about here, which is like food cities or towns that are underrated. Like, what is something that what is a town in Massachusetts that doesn't get the recognition it deserves for having really good food?
Yeah. So someone who's lived in Springfield and lived in Worcester, the easy response was like, oh, one of those cities. They've got good restaurants.
Yeah.
Of course, they're one of the bigger cities in New England.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get out my soapbox for Ludlow, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I have some friends in Ludlow. They're going like, what is Nick talking about? But it's right off the Pike. Used to be Exit 7, right by that rest stop on the Pike. Ludlow has a great brewery in Vanish Valley Brewing.
Yeah.
Fantastic beer and a Portuguese spin on their food menu. A very strong Portuguese population in that town.
Uh-huh.
They have a incredibly underrated sushi restaurant in Blue Water Sushi. Like 10 years ago, we did Best of Mass Sushi and went around the state. I'm like, why are we going to Ludlow? Then we went to this place, and I'm like, okay, yeah. I was wrong. I did not believe them, and they blew me away. And Casa Pizzeria, which is a fantastic pizza place, like super busy, gets like rave reviews, but like the pizza there is fantastic. And it's just one of those spots where you go and like it's like a big Y right off the highway. You get off our highway real quick. There's a ton of little places that like don't get a lot of buzz, but are just fantastic places to go to.
Yeah, I love that. All right, shout out Ludlow.
Yeah.
I will tell you that's the first time Ludlow's been mentioned on this program, and I appreciate that. We're always trying to create a new conversation,
Yeah.
so thank
Listen,
you.
I am flying the flag for the 413 out here.
I love it. That's why you're here. And then I do want to touch on quickly, which is I think you might be the world's foremost expert on Polar Seltzer.
I try to be.
That certainly it doesn't work for Polar Beverages, right? And you have a long documented history of trying all of the flavors, all of the anything they offer, you try. Can you talk me through how this love affair began, and what is your favorite? Maybe what's your least favorite?
So the thing with Polar started with like, oh, I guess I'll try seltzers and try not to drink as much soda, drink as much beer. I think at a certain point, I'm like, I just want something bubbly. I started getting into seltzer. And then one of my friends at the time, Melissa Hanson, who now works at Clark University, a former MassLive coworker, was like, she was very into seltzer. I'm like, started getting into it. I'm like, oh, they're always trying out new flavors. And I'm like, I'm going to track down every flavor I can and rank them. And there was like 20 at the time.
Yeah.
And that was like the all-time rankings. Then they would come out with stuff for like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And they always come out with some new flavors for winter and then summer. And so over time, it's just like, yeah, I'll throw those in. And now I'm well over 100 flavors.
Yeah.
And some flavors I've gone through insane means to try and get my hands on because they have this like chili lime margarita that was hard to get. And they had a flavor that was only available in Arizona. And I reached out to them directly and they got it to me. And then they have this series called Expedition Flavor where some flavors you can only get at select grocery stores. Right. So Market Basket has a flavor, Stop and Shop has a flavor, Big Y has a flavor. Right. And I'm like trying to track all these down, but then one of them is Kroger. Yeah. I'm like, there is not a Kroger around here. But I had a coworker who was at a work conference in Tennessee who was near a Kroger and smuggled me back a pack of Nectarine Lemon Expedition Flavor seltzer so I could put it in the rankings. It was okay.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your dedication. So what? Give us your top and your maybe your least favorite.
So my number one easily is the cranberry lime, absolute classic flavor. I'm known for making kind of outlandish picks, and there are people who have issues with my rankings, but I think cranberry lime is just the most rock solid flavor.
Yeah. Very good. And that's an everyday staple for them, right?
Oh yeah, it's probably their best seller.
Yeah. And then what's your least favorite one you've tried?
I think last year they came out with this sample pack called the dessert cart flavors, which are all like apple pie and stuff like that. And they had one in there called cinnamon bun, which, my God, cinnamon, that's a decent... No. Cinnamon bun is a bad time in seltzer form. It was so bad that they ended up bringing it back a year later, and mysteriously, cinnamon bun was gone and replaced with like vanilla cupcake.
Sure. Oh, they tried it. They took a shot.
Yeah, listen, I love when people try things.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I like talking with people who are experts, people who have passion about things, and I appreciate your dedication to keeping this running list of Polar Beverages. So I will check back in with you as every seasonal holiday pack drops, right? We'll see the rankings.
If nothing else, it gives people something. If they haven't seen me in a while, I'm like, oh, hey, man, I haven't seen you in 2 years. Run into them at a wedding. Oh, hey, how's it going? I have a problem with your rankings. Like, cool, good to see you too.
Yeah, I like it. Very good. All right, these are we're flying through these, and this is good. All right, another series I saw you do, or not a series maybe, but I noticed that you we talked a little bit about tourist destinations, but you've also spent a lot of time going to museums, all various types, which I like. What is there any? Like, what's your favorite museum? Is there anything out there that maybe is not well known that kind of flies under the radar? Like, what's your favorite spot or places?
So my personal favorite, and this is just a me thing, is way out in North Adams, going back to the Berkshires, is MassMocha, the Museum of Contemporary Art. I'm not as big a fan of like Renaissance era painting. I really like contemporary art, which is it's very hit or miss. You'll look at something and go, what is this? This is art? This doesn't get it. And they go to the next room and go, I'm gonna stare at this for 2 hours because it's just this waterfall of junk, or it's like tapestries representing conflict in the Middle East, things like that. It's in these old mill buildings, and it's like interactive, and you're just walking around this maze of really cool things that you go, "Oh, is this art? I don't know, but I'm intrigued." Yeah, and I just really enjoy being at that museum. That's the personal favorite of mine. More recently, I stumbled upon, I had no idea these were in Massachusetts, the Hammond Castle Museum and Beauport Sleeper McCann House, both in Gloucester, I believe. These incredible former private residences that are now museums. Like the Hammond Castle Museum is this incredibly constructed castle that's also a museum that has an inner courtyard that's modeled after the courtyard at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I'm like, this is here? This has been here the whole time? It's right on the water. And the Sleeper McCann House is just this old residence that has like all these additions and this incredible imported 300-year-old Woodford doors and this artwork and incredible construction of like, oh, here's like some backlit glass of, oh, there's no light bulb back there. They use like mirrors and skylights to backlight these things, and you're looking around. I'm like, when this was built in the 20s or whatever, like this is incredible. Yeah,
very cool. I like that. I'm not. I've been to like Museum of Fine Art and like the Isabella Stewart Gardner.
I know.
So I'm not. I need to step my game up.
Exactly, and that's the things I like try to highlight. It's like, those museums are fantastic. Yeah. But you can keep discovering new things the more you look around to the state. And like the Worcester Art Museum is something that I've been on a soapbox for recently as a very underrated museum. Especially they updated their Higgins Armory exhibit, which like they have swords you can pick up. They have a Mandalorian helmet you can put on. It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and those places too, like those places that are for arts and for culture and for all that, they're the same thing as food, and which is what we preach a lot here, which is if you do not support them, they will go away, right? It's important to show up. It's important to spend time and to spend a little bit of money. And I appreciate what you're doing, trying to help, because if everyone's just going to the Museum of Fine Art over and over and over again, that's not a lot of breadth of options on the state, right? Yeah. So I appreciate that.
I mean, it's always more convenient to go to just the same go-to over and over again, but you look around, you see a lot of, like, as someone who's in the media, the easy way to go is just like, ooh, look at the shiny thing, the places that have marketing teams that are able to get news out, and like, good on them. It's a great way to keep your business going. But for a lot of businesses, you go, oh, this place opened, ignore them for a while, oh, this place closed. Yeah. And are we doing enough to go, hey, this place opened 3 years ago and it's still awesome and you should go? That's the sort of stuff. There's a tremendous void in the way we cover these businesses. And if we can fill that void any way we can, we're making communities and businesses and putting them in a better place.
Yeah, I like it. Very good. All right. We're going to switch from museums to donuts, which is another, and again, I'm picking up on some themes from your content, right? So I hope I'm covering the right bases here, but I noticed some donut content. I love donuts. What would be your favorite donut shop in the state of Massachusetts?
Okay, before we get any further, are we talking donuts overall or cider donuts? Because those are two very different lanes in my mind.
Let's talk, I'm talking donuts overall, so let's do donuts overall, and then let's do cider donuts.
Donuts overall, I really like Rocco's Donuts. They have locations in Millbury, Worcester, Auburn, right near where I live. And I'm a big fan of Basic Batch Donuts down in Milford, where I grew up. I grew up a town over. Like, they also have great stuff there.
Yeah.
And there's a million places in Boston. I believe there's also like an underground donut tour that I need to go on because like there's so many places. I'm like, I need to try all those.
Yeah. What's your favorite Rocco's donut?
Favorite Rocco's donut is, man, they do some really good peanut butter cup stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. All right. Now, what's your favorite apple cider donut?
So last September, I went all around the state to do best of cider donuts, and my number one, and I thought this was going to be really hard to differentiate all these different cider donuts. Turns out there's a lot of little subtleties that can make them, but the number one in terms of like texture and price and like the flavor of the apple that you actually get from it is Caloriso's in Reading, which is sort of like a country store right off the highway.
Yeah.
I like, oh, they just have this little setup. Why were people recommending this? I buy a half dozen, bring it to my car. I'm like, all right, try it, and go, whoa.
Yeah.
Just that moment of like, when you first take a bite, like, I haven't processed why this is amazing, but just like, it just tastes different and just an elevated level of flavor. It just like that.
Yeah. Are they seasonal or is it year round? You know.
I should know this, but I don't.
Yeah, the funny thing is that apples do grow year round. We focus on them in the fall and that sort of mature period, right? But so you see cider donuts everywhere in the fall, but I do know that you can make them year round. I don't know. I'm curious. Anyways, we'll look that up afterwards, right? So this next one is it's a question we ask everybody, and it causes a lot of engagement online. Let's say a way to put it, which is. The world's ending tomorrow. You're here in Massachusetts. What are you having for dinner tonight?
So, I see this question a lot, and it's a lot of like, oh, I'm gonna have like a chicken parm or a steak dinner. I'm like, listen, if I'm not getting up tomorrow, I have to worry about the repercussions. I'm going sweets. Yeah. I'm like, great. Like, I'm in a constant state of like, well, I can't eat sweets all the time because I'll feel bad.
Yeah.
But if the meteor's coming, I get to avoid that entirely. So my happy place meal is in Worcester. It is a Birch Tree Bread Company. It's just, for me, it is just like my cozy spot where I love hanging out and eating. They have these amazing chocolate chunk cookies. So I'm getting a meatball pizza and everything in the bakery case, but particularly the chocolate chunk cookies. And they also serve beer there, so get that as well.
Bunch of beer, a meatball pizza, and everything they bake.
Everything they bake.
Very good. I like that. No one has made that point before about sweets. We had someone on who had gout, so he couldn't eat fried clams.
Yeah, from the oysters.
Yeah, and so he said he can't eat fried seafood. So he said that his similar thing, which was if I'm gonna die tomorrow anyways, I'm gonna get gout tomorrow. Yep. So similar concept, which I appreciate. All right, cool, very good. Now this is a lot of stuff you're adding to my list for the next time I'm in Central Mass or Western Mass. All right, next one is kind of on theme with what we're talking about a lot here, which is summertime activity, low cost, no cost, anything that you have identified maybe this summer that would be a good fit for people who want to go do something fun but don't want to drop a ton of cash.
Exactly. For me, always it has been the Audubon Society hiking trails. My dad's super into birds and birding and like has an amazing garden and always in the yard. I go, what kind of bird is that? And I'll go, chickadee, junco, nuthatch, I don't know. as I've gotten older, I've started to actually learn the birds and appreciate it more. But near where I live, there's an Audubon Society sanctuary called Broad Meadow Brook. That is my go-to. I just 5 minutes down the road, very nice walk. So Audubon Society sanctuaries all around the state. Thing that I've picked up recently is that there's some nice parks that basically have castles in them. Bancroft Tower in Worcester, just a short little walk. You can go through this big stone castle-like arch. It's great. Methuen is Tunney Castle Ruins. Up in Haverhill, there's Winnickenny Castle. If you keep an eye out, there are these really nice castle-like ruins that you can go check out. It's just like a nice walk in the park, and it's free.
Yeah.
And it's like just, you get some, it's sort of like you're cresting a hill. You go, I saw a castle today, which is, you know what?
Yeah.
It didn't cost anything and doesn't actually change anything about your day, but you saw a castle today, so you did something.
Yeah, I like that. I appreciate that. And I think we are, listen, everything's expensive now, right? It costs a lot of money just to go out into the world a lot. So I think we've been trying to talk about here, and I appreciate people like you who are highlighting that stuff, right? Which is, there is a lot of really fun stuff to do out there that is, short of the gas money to get you there free.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, and that's good. And I love the Audubon Society. I love, obviously, I think what they do is a really great work. And so, we had a family friend, the father sounds very similar to your dad growing up. So it's one of those things I did a lot as a kid, and something I'm trying to get back into more and more, right? Is kind of going and exploring those places that people are spending time and energy to maintain and preserve, right? So I appreciate that. It's good answer. All right. I'm going to continue on the Western Mass piece, which is a category I'm making up specifically for you, which is best restaurant west of Worcester. So what is your favorite restaurant in Massachusetts west of Worcester?
So my first instinct was go to Springfield, where there's a few good restaurants. There's Student Prince, great German food. Mamu, recently revived, Cajun joint. The sous chef of that learned from the previous chef opened its own spot. And then Theodore's Barbecue in Springfield. All, if you're going to like Basketball Hall of Fame or in that area, those are all great.
Yeah.
But I think the actual answer for me is a place I went to recently. It's called the Steaming Tender in Palmer.
Okay.
Because, once again, it's something that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And if it was inside the 128 ring, people would be losing their minds about
Yeah.
it. It is a train-themed restaurant at like an X of an active railroad. It's like there are trains going by this restaurant that's all train-themed. It's like train museum. You don't have waiters, you have conductors. There's incredible visuals. There's a locomotive engine you can see in the parking lot. They have these wonderful seats like on the tracks. You see trains going by, like little swing seats. It's all these wonderful little things. You go around like, why is no one talking about this all the time? And it's just a fun vibe.
Yeah.
And they have good food. It's a lot of comfort food.
Sure.
So their cornbread is spectacular. They got like turkey dinners, clam chowder, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also a little bit of a Nordic spin.
Yeah.
Last time I went there, I got a Viking burger, which was a burger with lingonberry jam.
Okay.
And then a tub of Swedish gravy, like you get at IKEA, and you dip the burger in the gravy.
Right.
And that's fantastic. But their number one thing, and it's what I think is one of the most underrated desserts in the state. They have a whiskey bread pudding, and bread pudding is one of those things that if you haven't had a lot of it, it doesn't sound interesting. Yeah. It is this incredible caramel draped little. How do you describe bread pudding? Besides it being bread pudding, it's almost like a cake, but very bready and chewy. Just this more toothsome, draped in caramel, just like a level of richness and moistness you can't get in anything else.
Yeah.
Just this beautifully baked, like if you had like a very sort of well done brownie that's full of caramel.
Yeah.
It's just I enjoy the heck out of eating it, and not a lot of places do it. This Steaming Tender in Palmer, absolute gem.
Then we're going to talk underrated cuisine. So, on this show, we talk a lot about Italian food. We talk a lot about seafood, fried seafood, clam chowder, lobster, all that stuff, right? But I always love talking to people about, like, what do you think is done really well here that doesn't get talked about a lot, like kind of flies under the radar. And I'd be curious, what is your opinion on food in Massachusetts that flies under the radar, doesn't get the credit it deserves?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of fantastic bakeries around Massachusetts. I think we're seeing it more and more often. For a while, it's just like, oh, they're making all these cupcakes, but we're seeing a lot of like technically proficient, excellent French pastries like Lacan Paris and Newton. I think they have the spot in Seaport now. They really sort of were a breakthrough for a lot of places that do incredible French-style croissants and stuff like that. I was at a recent trip to the Berkshires, this place called Berkshire Mountain Bakery. They were featured on this Netflix series called Cooked, in talking about bread and actual development of the starches in bread and development of the flavors from gluten. And they had this fantastic bread there. But they also had these amazing cannelés, which are these little French pastries that are just like yay big. And it's just this little spongy cake that has this amazing flavor. And they had them for like $1 a piece. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can get these $1 a piece.
Yeah.
But I think more and more of those places are popping up.
Yeah.
That, and like in Worcester, we have crust, we have yolk and crumb. We have a lot of places popping up with like great bakeries. And I think the other thing that's very underrated, Western Mass has a very strong pizza game.
Yeah.
I think people think of pizza, they think of like the Boston places,
Sure.
like Sam Tarpio's, Pizzeria Regina, like Umberto's and North End. Western Mass has some very underrated pizza places, like Casa Pizza in Ludlow, some places in Holyoke. I really like Red Rose in Springfield. That's like an absolute institution out there. There's a little bit of it. Western Mass has its own style of pizza, just like party pizza with like squares, and it's very subtly different. But like you talk to people out there, like, no, Western Mass pizza is a style.
Yeah.
But people out in Western Mass are crazy, and as someone who lived there for a while can confirm.
Very good. I like that. I don't know if I've had any pizza from Western Mass. It's been a decent. I went to college in upstate New York, so I know the I-90 corridor, right, the Pike all the way out to Utica, New York. So I think I've stopped on the highway there for food a million times. I don't know if I ever had pizza now that you say that, but I'm gonna try it out. Next time I go to the Berkshires, we're gonna make a special
There you go.
special stop.
Yeah, I get a nice big cheese that's cut into squares with the weird corner pieces.
Yeah.
When I think of Western Mass pizza, I think of that.
The little piece that's got like 2 pieces of cheese on it, right,
Yep.
and crust. Very good. And then the flip side of that question, which is, what do you think is done here that's overrated? Like what is too hyped up? What's past its prime? Whatever you want to say. Like what kind of food or food trend here is overrated?
I'm willing to stand out on this cliff and take all the slings and arrows about like, man, clam chowder ain't it. It ain't it, man. It's like everyone assumes, oh, you've got to have clam chowder, and everywhere I go, I'm like, man, you really phoned in this soup. And I'm sitting there going like, you know what would be better than this clam chowder? Corn chowder, like a cheeseburger chowder. Can you get me like a lobster bisque? Like, no. Like, yeah, there's 2 pieces of clam in here. It's mostly potatoes. Every now and then you find a place that goes, oh man, they really went all out with this clam chowder. They like get everything checked, every box. I'm like, that was fine. Yeah. I really like the oyster crackers, which cost them 5 cents. Like, there are a lot of great soups. Clam chowder's not a great soup.
You're not a clam chowder guy.
No. Like, what are we doing? I mean, like, it's one of those soups that goes from boiling hot to, it's too cold. There's like a 15-second window where clam chowder is the right temperature. You're not going to find a piece of clam during that time. You're going to get a lot of potato and random bits. Go, I don't know what this is, actually. I know potatoes in here. I know clams in here. What's this little bit? I don't know. I guess I'm eating it.
What, have you ever had clam chowder you liked or no? You've never had one good experience?
I've had some positive experiences, but I think it maxes out at, oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
I've never been blown away by a clam chowder.
Like a B- for
yeah.
you, right? Yeah.
It's like, it's just a lot of like, man, you go to a lot of places, like, well, we got to have clam chowder on the menu, and they phone it in.
Yeah.
And there's no food that I'm like, man, if I see it, there's no food that when I get it, I'm going to be ready to be hurt than when clam chowder shows up.
Very fair. All right. We'll accept that answer. We'll accept that answer, and then a couple more here, and then we'll let you go. But you're passing with flying colors.
Send all of your complaints about my clam chowder takes to jimpignatello@masslive.com. That's definitely my email address and not my boss's.
All right, and so then another thing I've seen is breweries you check out, wineries, places all over the state. Mm-hmm. Again, weather's finally starting to get nice. It's June. Do you have a favorite spot for an outdoor drink?
Mm-hmm. Favorite spot, I'm like, man, I love the Treehouse Brewery in Charlton. I know they're covered, like, super popular. They get all the awards. I think that's one of those places that is legitimately that good. The good news is that the gap between, like, it used to be like, oh, you gotta drive 2 hours to find this incredible beer.
Yeah.
But now it's like the gap between the super top tier places and everyone else is sort of closed. And like you can get great beer most places, like Greater Good Imperial beers in Greater Good Imperial Brewing in Worcester. They've got some outdoor seating, some fantastic beers. Wormtown recently redid its tap room in Worcester, but specifically for outdoor, I think the best experiences are Trillium in Canton and Treehouse's spots in Charlton, and their South Deerfield location is awesome as well.
Mm-hmm. And what's your favorite Treehouse beer?
I gotta say their green IPA. Like I know Julius is their flagship, but the green really does it for me. And if they ever have the blue, they just have an IPA called Blue, and I don't know if it's legitimately that good or I'm just excited that there's a beer called Blue. Like this could just be me being tricked by like, oh, it's blue.
Yeah. Hey, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It makes you happy. It makes you happy, right?
Yeah, and I've yet to go there and been disappointed by a beer. It gets super crowded, especially on weekends and when the weather gets nice, but their beer's fantastic.
Yeah.
They just do great stuff.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, listen, you've gone through the lightning round, you've passed with flying colors, and I'd like to just kind of how we end here is what we're about halfway through the year. What is on your plate for the rest of this year? Is there anything you're looking forward to? Anything you're excited about? What's kind of on the horizon for you?
The Big E's always been a big event for me. Like I go every year and eat too much and pass out on the grass and make a funny video about it. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Going to baseball games. I got Wednesday. I'm going to the Woo Sox.
Nice.
I got Georgia's Coney Island hot dog because that is an institution in Worcester. That's the best thing to get at the park. It's like $5. It's a great hot dog. And trying to get out to the Cape more often.
Yep.
Now that finally stuff's really opening up. Ice cream places down there.
Yep.
Really, I think summertime is more for enjoying places outside and getting out into nature. Winter, we really got to cope with pizza and beer.
Sure.
And like, man, I could go for a really nice bowl of ramen right now in mid-February. That's when we really need the restaurants. But in summertime, it's time to go see a waterfall.
Yep.
Go make the drive out to Mount Washington to Bash Fish Falls, tallest waterfall in Massachusetts.
Pack a sandwich. I agree.
Yep.
The good eating is year round, but it is a different tone to the summer. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, those are all wonderful recommendations. You've made my long list even longer, which I appreciate.
That's the problem. You talk to people who are passionate about food, like you're never gonna know the entire state. That list is only gonna get longer.
No, and listen. I talk to a lot of people here who know food. I talk to people who eat out 6, 7, 8, 9 times a week, and they all say themselves like the list you can never keep up. And even in Massachusetts, not a massive state, right? No. It is densely populated, but I think what this conversation is about, and I think what a lot of this show is about, is like that there's really good food here if you're willing to get in your car and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. Like you can have a little bit of everything, and that's kind of what we believe. So.
And for a lot of the state, you don't need to like going into Boston, going into Cambridge. It's awesome. It's a fun time.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like especially if you live out in Worcester, if you're up in Haverhill, Springfield, New Bedford. Like that's a long drive.
Sure.
There's good food all around the state. You just have to know where to look, and it can
Exactly.
be anywhere.
That's right.
New Instagram handle.
That's right. And we'll end on that. Well, Nick, thank you.
Hey,
Come
it was a
back
pleasure.
anytime, and
course.
we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.